My name is Eric Shabazz, and you're listening to the Invisible Hand Podcast. The world's ran by human nature, self-interest, and power. Let's get into it. What's going on, everybody? Eric Shabazz here with the Invisible Hand Podcast, back with another episode. So Elon's back in the news, and the report now is Twitter sues Elon Musk to force him to buy the company while accusing him of trashing it. So, as everybody been knowing, Elon stays in the news. If it ain't twins, it's him saying something crazy on Twitter. It's him, propping up Dogecoin. I mean, the dude is a great entrepreneur, but I do feel like at this point, the stigma that he's creating for himself is going to start to hurt him. I really do believe that, because at some point when you're constantly involved in these media skirmishes and then you go to court, eventually the ball's going to drop on the other side. Like, you're not going to just keep winning with no losses. And I think that this particular case will kind of be Elon Musk's downfall from the perspective of, I think that he may not win. They may not force him to buy the company, and I'll explain at the end of the video why I don't think that's going to happen. But I do think he's going to probably get hit with some deformations where he may have to pay $1 billion to get out the deal or somewhere near a settlement. I'll explain why in a little bit. So let's just get in the article a little bit for you guys who's catching up with this. So I'm just going to read a little bit of you, and then we'll go over what we hear. So it says Twitter suing Elon Musk to force the tech giant to commit his bid to purchase the company for $44 billion. In a filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission last week, Musk said he was seeking to withdraw from the purchase agreement, arguing Twitter had violated it by refusing to turn over information about spam bot accounts on the site. In its suit filed Tuesday, Twitter accused Musk of breaching the purchase agreement while causing its share price to tank. Musk apparently believed he, unlike every other party subject to Delaware contract law, is free to change his mind, trash the company, disrupt its operations, destroy shareholder value, Twitter said. Since Musk agreed to buy the company for $54.20 a share in April, Twitter's share price has sunk all the way down to $54.06. Twitter, whose headquarters in San Francisco, is suing Musk in Delaware, where his business is registered and where many civil suits involving business are often heard. In this case, Twitter will ask the judge to force Musk to make good on his offer to purchase the company at a $44 billion two-sided agreed price. So, before we get into how Elon responded to this claim, the first thing I want to say is this. First of all, let's talk about Twitter a little bit before we get into Musk and the whole thing. My personal opinion about this is, I believe, and I don't obviously have any insight on their negotiations, but in general, Elon was buying this company not as an insider, but as a public stock offerer. So meaning that he was buying this company just like you would go buy shares of the company on Robinhood. And so the financial information that you report in a public company in the 10K is available for everybody, including Elon. And that information is audited specifically for investors to make informed decisions. So the information that's available on the 10K should tell you the financial position of the company and the workings. But obviously, when you're making a big deal like this and there's a lot of money, there's going to be a contractual agreement about discovery, right? Elon, at the beginning of this deal, kind of waived discovery or kind of put it off. Most people who approach buyouts and mergers or acquisitions of companies have their lawyers go do due diligence, and they don't necessarily move this quickly. And I feel like Elon got caught up in the hype of everybody saying he's gonna buy it, he's a badass, he's gonna take it over, he's a corporate raider, he just gets shit done. And so Elon kind of didn't take his time with this deal, thinking, hey, I'm just gonna push it through. I got kind of like, the public support, and if I buy it, regardless of what happens, I'm so smart and I'm successful at so many things. I feel like Elon, a little bit, even though I love Elon, his head's getting a little big because he's getting so much public fanfare. There's so many basically ball riders of Elon. I mean, they basically build up every damn thing this dude do. So here's the thing. He bought the company probably didn't do as much due diligence as he should have at the beginning. And now, once he started digging into the due diligence, he's starting to get cold feet because he's realizing, okay, this company's not that great. And his biggest issue of all is, hey, look, I got the skills, I got the knowledge, I know how to turn this company around and make it profitable through some strategies. But he's looking at the fundamental assumptions about their user base is false, right? He's worrying about, basically that these people in Twitter basically have a whole bunch of bots, and he's worried about that more than 5% of all their users are bots, probably 20 to 25% are bots. And so his whole argument is, hey, once I started the discovery process to find out the truth about what percentage of your users are basically fake, and he started asking them for the information, they're not able to produce this information. However, here's the issue with Elon. They probably did provide him some basic metrics on the bots and how it worked, and he probably want so much information to the point where the information he's asking is structured in such a way to discredit the company. Not from the perspective of the public, but he's probably asking so much information and proof and explanations about how they calculate their users, how they defend against bots, where he's making a case that, hey, I fundamentally believe that a lot of your users are fake or they're bots, and you don't even have as big of a user base as you say. And so the truth is, Elon probably doesn't like this deal. And the reason he's trying to get out of it is because he realizes it's not a good deal, especially right now, given that Elon probably already lost $300 to $400 billion of market cap off Tesla. We're going into a recession, and this is not a good time to tie up $44 billion. Even for Elon Musk, $44 billion for a bad company that really doesn't produce revenue, that really doesn't have a business model, is not a great investment. So in reality, it's really, really not a good deal. I'm going to break down to you in a little bit what some of the fundamental problems with Twitter is and why Elon would even want to get out this deal. But before we do that, let's just get a little bit more into the article and see what Elon's talking about. So basically, let's see what Musk said in return. In response to Musk's accusation that it has not turned over spam account information, Twitter said it hosted multiple information sessions with Musk's team and discussed Twitter's process for calculating its user count and its estimates of spam and false accounts. It said it also provided a detailed summary that laid out the process that the company uses to estimate spam accounts as a percentage of active users. The scope of the request and the deadline defendants imposed on their satisfaction was unreasonable. Now, as I read more of the article, basically Twitter and the board is basically saying Elon is asking kind of outlandish questions to the point where they don't feel like he's legitimately even in discovery anymore. They kind of think he's intentionally trying to ask so many difficult questions to the point where the questions are designed for him to have a legal argument to get out the deal. So in this article, he's explaining that basically they think he's trying to get out the deal, and all of his discovery requests about how you do users are structured in a way to prove a point, to prove that the company doesn't have, basically, they misrepresented themselves. And so they believe that he's basically trying to get out the deal and they want to hold his foot to the fire. Okay. Twitter said bot accounts comprise about 5% of its 220 million active users. In response, Twitter said Musk and his team came up with increasingly evasive and unreasonable requests, including demanding immediate response to their access to requests. In the suit, Twitter incorporates the numerous tweets posted by Musk as a dispute between the two sides played out in recent months. The company said that the tweets have served to disparage the company. Musk's conduct simply confirms that he wants to escape the binding contract he freely signed and to damage Twitter in the process. Now, here's my honest opinion. I watch another podcast called the All In Podcast. It's with Chamath Palihapitiya, David Stacks, David Freeberg, and Jason Calacanis. These are all venture capitalist investors in Silicon Valley. They're very well known. By the way, y'all should check out that podcast. It's really, really good if you want to keep up with business. And they had an All In Summit, which is a conference in Miami. And Elon showed up on there. And the entire subject that they were speaking at this conference was about his deal with Twitter and how they can't prove that they got bots. And he's reiterating this on multiple interviews and social media. So honestly, even though I love Elon, I feel like they have a case, because at this point, Elon's so popular. I think he's like the top member on Twitter as far as the number of users. People are listening to him, and the government's already hitting him up with other cases about stock manipulation. I think Elon's getting a little ahead of himself. I think that he gets so much fanfare that he's losing sight of what he's here to do, which is get things done. I feel like he's also getting caught up in egotism. I think a lot of these moves that he's doing is because of the fanfare he's getting from the crowd. Like, honestly, based on the other companies he's doing, there are deep technology that matter. I think that this company is a pet project that he just got caught up in ego, where he was like, hey, everybody, I'm going to buy Twitter. And everybody's like, oh, Elon's the shit. He's going to buy Twitter. He's going to take it from him. He's going to turn it around like nothing. And so I honestly believe that Elon in this one is going to lose this one. I believe that they're going to go to court. They're going to put up a preponderance of evidence showing that Elon's been tweeting, he's been doing videos, he's been doing conferences, and the whole time he's been talking about how their bots are not legit, the company's not giving good information, and I do believe he's affecting the stock price. Now, here's why I believe that it wouldn't be in Elon's best case or Twitter's best case to force Elon to buy this company, especially if you're a real owner of this shareholders. It won't be best for shareholders. And when you go to court, their main concern is going to be what's best for shareholders. Now, here's why I think it won't be a good idea if Elon end up buying this company or getting forced to buy this company. You have millions of investors' money in Twitter, right? It's already losing money because basically Elon doesn't want to buy this company at this point. He's already dispersed it all over the internet. He already said a whole bunch of the accounts are bot accounts, right? And now if they force him to buy this company, what does that say to shareholders? That says to shareholders that now we don't have anything to be excited about, because now Elon has a company that he didn't want to buy, they think is no good, that he think is fundamentally flawed. And now, because of an argument, he's been forced to still follow through on a bad deal. That doesn't signal confidence for all the investors who invested in Twitter. So what's going to happen is Elon's going to lose even more money if he buys it for $44 billion, and he's forced to, because now you're going to have a whole bunch of shareholders pull their money out, and we don't know how long that's going to happen, especially during a recession. So if this deal get pushed through like in a year and it's still a recession, they're going to be running for cover from any bad investments. And then you're going to see Elon lose even more money. Now, a lot of the people on the board, their job, their fiduciary duties is to do what's best for the shareholders. So really, forcing Elon to buy it, it's going to cause a chain reaction of people running from the stock price, which is going to lose shareholders a lot of money. So I don't think it's in their best interest to force Elon to buy this company. Now, what I do think is going to happen is he's either going to have to pay the $1 billion to get out the deal, or he's going to get some type of settlement amount. I do think that he's going to kind of get found guilty for disparaging the company, because honestly, I follow everything Elon does. And if you really look at all the tweets, all the summits, all the interviews of him bringing this topic up over and over while he's in the middle of negotiations publicly, I do believe he's been trying to publicly influence and publicly set up an argument for him to get out this deal. And I think that what he did was jump the gun. He didn't do his due diligence up front, because I think he was operating egotistical. Hey, I'm Elon. Anything I touch turns to gold, right? I'm the big dog. I'm the chief. I'm the top G, right? That's how he operates, right? He's smoking weed on Joe Rogan. He's running, he's knocking twins out of girls at Neuralink. And so he think everything he touches gold, and he's getting egotistical. And I think that really he don't need Twitter. He doesn't need to be the free speech champion. I think he should focus on the companies that he's working with. Well, it don't matter what I think, but I think that it would be better off doing that. So I think in this case, he will end up be paying $1 billion, $700 million to get out the deal. It won't hurt him. And depending on his attitude and how busy he is with other stuff, he might drag this out for 5 years in court. I don't know. Either way, I don't think they want to drag it out. Even if Elon did, and they will try to settle, because it's going to hurt the shareholders. It's going to hurt the share price. And Twitter's already messed up. So anyways, that's my take on what's going on with Elon and this company. I think that ultimately, yeah, he won't buy the company, and he will end up paying $1 billion or less to get out of it. The dude got money, so ain't gonna really hurt them. Anyways, till next time, my friends. The future of legal betting is finally here. Place a bet using Bitcoin right over the phone. Unlike traditional gambling sites, every bet you make with us is guaranteed a 50% probability of winning. All of our bets are one-on-one against a real person and never the house. We offer some of the most unique bets in the industry. Bets like, will LeBron James win his 5th NBA title? Will Joe Biden be elected for a second term? Will Tesla be worth $1 trillion by the end of 2022? You can bet on if it'll rain tomorrow. You can literally bet on any future event. Text the phrase I bet to the number in the description and I'll reply back with all of our available bets. Again, text the phrase I bet to the number in the description and I'll reply back with all of our available bets today.